Hi, Steve. It is very nice to meet you today.
Great to meet you.
So it's also very nice to hear your presentation about the VR and AR.
Thank you.
So what do you think of invest in China and also in the US?
So investment climate is good. It's still really hard to find great startups. So when I'm looking out in the US or in China, finding a really good startup at an early stage that isn't already extremely expensive is a challenge. So I have to look at like thousands of startups in order to find just a few that I think are good investments.
Yeah, you mentioned you're 70% of the time you're traveling. That's a lot of energy and efforts to put into the investment.
Yes, I travel all the time. I'm constantly meeting with startups around the world and talking to them. And I think that really helps because then I understand what's coming. Because in a lot of markets, like in China, there's certain areas where China is ahead of Silicon Valley. And there are other spaces in Silicon Valley where Silicon Valley is ahead. So when you're looking at the different markets, you can kind of, by looking at who's ahead in different areas, like if you go to Israel and you're looking at security, they're doing cutting edge security in Israel. If you go to Shenzhen, you're just seeing like massive amounts of hardware. So when you see people actually innovating and coming up with stuff ahead, then you can go back to other markets and actually look for those specific startups, and those make very good investments.
Sounds great. What do you think of the investment opportunities on the collaboration opportunities?
So, well, first of all, I think there's enormous collaboration opportunities between Silicon Valley and China. I spend most of my time working with parties in China and in Silicon Valley and bringing them together. So at Founderspace, we have offices here in San Francisco, and we also have offices in Shanghai, Beijing, Wuhan. We're opening up in many more cities in China because our goal is to actually bring startups both directions. So we're bringing really good technology startups from Silicon Valley into China, and we're bringing really good startups from China who want to enter the US market into the US and helping them.
Sounds great. And you also invested in media before and the filmmaking industry. So what do you think of the future directions and development of the media?
Oh, media. So technology is changing everything. And it is definitely changing the film industry. I mean, look at it. Right now, online, viewing movies online is bigger than television, right? I talk to people in China, media producers in the US, all of them are moving online, especially in China, because you have more freedom. You can do all sorts of different types of shows. You have more control. You can monetize those shows. And if you can capture the audience, if you can make them theirs, then you own them. Right now, if you put a show on a big network that's owned by somebody else, then they own the viewer. You don't own them, and as soon as your show ends, you have to start all over again, right? But if you capture people and actually they can become your viewers, and we see a lot of value being created in this area. So we see startups in the US like Netflix, they're basically replacing television. Amazon Prime Video, they're moving in a huge way to capture users, spending enormous amounts of money. Those are the new television. YouTube, we see the same thing with Youku in China, with Tencent and their media platforms, lots of big media platforms. Those will be dominant players in the future. Television will become a smaller and smaller part. So everybody will be consuming their news, their entertainment, all the stuff that they want in media and television will be online. Period. And it will be more and more shifting to smaller devices, right? So not even the PC, but more and more it's going to be on your phone. And in the future, it will be on your VR or AR devices.
Okay, thank you very much for all the questions, answer all the questions.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.